kind of the journey of VR and how it came to be about. I think it was 2014 or 2013, this guy from Long Beach, California created a prototype of the current Oculus Rift. So the stuff that's coming out now, it was a prototype that he worked on in conjunction with this really smart guy who worked on the Doom games. Okay, so what we have here, so this is not the latest thing. This is called I would call it a phone VR. So basically, it's a case. This is one of the more expensive type ones, but these are being phased out. These are not really that good anymore because you have to use your phone and you have to insert your phone into the case and then use your phone. For one thing, it gets really hot and then you can't use your phone because your phone's in the VR thing. So this was called the Samsung Gear VR, right? And people are not using this anymore because Oculus just came out with something called the Oculus Go. Now, before I even talk about the Oculus Go, let's talk about the other VR stuff. So if you want high quality, high graphics, really the whole experience type VR thing, then you're gonna need a gaming computer. You're gonna need a computer that has a very powerful video card. And also you need to have either the Oculus Rift, which is the high end, or the HTC Vive, okay? And there are other headsets that are not related to that, but those are the two main ones right now. And those are tethered experiences. What does that mean? That means that there's a wire that connects from the headset that goes directly to the computer. Now that is great, but for most people who don't have a gaming computer and don't have the time or the inclination to set everything up just to try VR, most people have been trying the phone VR or in some cases the really crappy Google Cardboard. Now those are really great experiences because they're super fast or cheap, but they're not the greatest quality. So here comes along. So Oculus was like, how can we get the everyday person, the mobile market? So they released something called the Oculus Go, and the Oculus Go is basically similar to Samsung Gear VR, but instead of using a phone, everything is encased in one unit, and you don't need a computer. You don't need a high-end computer, gaming computer, and you can use it anywhere. Okay, so as you can see, this is the Oculus Go. Okay, it is like this. You got your straps on the top, on the side here, and it also came with an insert for glasses wear so that the lenses aren't really so close to your face. So it basically made the lenses kind of like further apart, as you can see from here. And it comes with like a simple pointing controller. So this controller, it can when you're in the game, you can see it like this. So you'll be able to point at things, but it doesn't move forward or backward in space. And the thing with the Oculus Go is that it does not move you in 6 degrees of freedom. So you can only go 3 degrees of freedom. Now, what does that even mean? So for most apps and most simple VR games that are on the Oculus Go, you only need to be able to like spin your head around, look at 360, look up, look down, but you won't be able to move like this, or you won't be able to move like that, and you won't be able to move forward, and you won't be able to move backward. Okay, that's the limitation of this, and that is, I think, the only limitation, because everything else is makes it a really great experience. The resolution of the VR itself is actually higher than the resolution in the Oculus Rift, so it makes up it for that in resolution. So this is really great to watch like Netflix, YouTube videos, or any kind of viewing experience, because you're not moving around that much with your head, and also you don't have to worry about getting dizzy if you move like this, because when you move like this, it won't move in the game because your head is just attached to like this thing and your neck, and it just goes in 3 degrees of freedom. So how do you put it on? Usually what you want to do is you want to put the face mask onto your face first. So the Oculus Go onto your face like this, right? And then you put your straps on. Okay, so let me redo that. Okay, So make sure the straps are kind of above your head like this. Then you put the face mask on, and then pull over the rest of the straps. Okay, and then I'll just show you that I'm going to be, and as you can see right now I'm in the very easy to use, very so as you can see you can look around, okay, but if I go forward like this, nothing changes. Like you won't move forward in space, so you can't get closer to the menu. There's a menu down here that you see, but you won't be able to get closer. Now, some of the games that I recommend is one game called Virtual Reality. It's a really good game for beginners. Really fun. The storyline's kind of very snarky, kind of mean, but like in a funny way. So very comedic. And highly recommend the Oculus Go. So I've actually convinced a couple of people to get it, and we're gonna have like VR nights. And because it's so easy to use and there's very low like requirements, you don't need a computer. Like I said, you don't need like a very high-end computer. The only thing you need is like a phone to initially install everything. But once you install everything on the headset runs itself. And the battery life is about 2 hours, so that's 2 hours of like you playing a very like intense game, right? Or watching a Netflix movie, 2-hour movie. What else? You could plug in headphones here if you would like, but the sound that comes from these bars or something, I don't know where the sound is coming from, but the sound is very usable even without headphones. So it's really great for that. So it's one of those things where you just put on your head and start using right away. The controller itself is very intuitive. It's basically, so you got your trigger button, right? You got your trigger button. You got a trackpad here, and then also the trackpad doubles up as a button too. So there's a button, just click, and you have your back button and the Oculus button, which is kind of like a menu or system button. That's what I call it. And it just goes in your hand like this, and it's very easy to use. You're just pointing at things. You can use the trackpad, click on things with the trackpad also, depending on the game, obviously. So overall, it's a very great thing. And one really funny thing that a lot of people were asking me is like, hey, does it come in this color? Does it come in red? Does it come in blue? And I'm like, whoa, this is like a missed opportunity that Oculus can get into. So I know it just came out, but I would, people would definitely buy like different colors, like a yellow one, a black one, or even blue, right? So something for Oculus to think about. Highly recommend it. I'm gonna do another video next week on the games and the apps that I have installed on the Oculus Go.